Snow drifted softly outside the glass walls of the Grand Aurelia Hotel, turning the city into a postcard-perfect Christmas night. Inside, the company's annual Christmas party glittered with wealth, crystal chandeliers, violin music, and a towering tree wrapped in gold ribbons and diamonds borrowed just for the evening. Laughter echoed across the ballroom, but none of it reached Elena Harper. She stood near a marble column, a thin folder pressed to her chest. Her red dress was elegant yet simple, chosen carefully so she wouldn't draw attention. Tonight wasn't about her. At least that's what everyone believed. Across the room, her husband Daniel Harper laughed loudly with senior executives, his hand casually resting on a colleague's shoulder. He hadn't looked at Elena in over 10 minutes. When he finally walked over, his smile faded into impatience. "Let's get this over with," he muttered, opening the folder. "People are watching." Elena's fingers trembled as she took the pen. The music swelled, and someone nearby toasted to new beginnings. The words cut deeper than intended. Her eyes filled as she stared at the line marked "Wife's Signature." 3 years of marriage, late nights alone, quiet sacrifices, and love given without conditions boiled down to a single stroke of ink. A tear slipped free, splashing onto the paper. Daniel sighed. "Elena, don't make a scene. You knew this was coming." She nodded silently. He was right, she had known. She had known the moment his promotions mattered more than dinners. The moment's success made him ashamed of her simplicity. Still, knowing didn't make it hurt less. She sighed. The moment the pen lifted, Daniel straightened, relief clear on his face. Without another word, he turned and rejoined the crowd, already celebrating a life without her. Elena slipped her wedding ring into her clutch, her hands cold despite the warmth of the room. She took one last look at the party, at the people who had smiled politely at her for years, never once wondering who she truly was. And then she turned toward the exit. Just then the lights dimmed. The CEO stepped onto the stage, clearing his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue tonight's celebration, I have an important announcement." Elena paused mid-step. "I'd like to welcome the newest majority stakeholder of this company." A name appeared on the massive screen behind him. E. Harper Holdings. Elena slowly turned back, her tears drying as the room erupted into whispers, unaware that the woman they had just watched sign away her marriage was about to reclaim everything else. The ballroom froze as if time itself had stumbled. Conversations died mid-sentence. Champagne glasses hovered inches from lips, and every eye locked onto the glowing screen behind the CEO, E. Harper Holdings. The name hung in the air, heavy and unfamiliar, except to one person. Daniel's confident smile collapsed. That's not possible," he whispered, scanning the room as if someone would laugh and admit it was a prank. No one did. The CEO stepped aside and gestured toward the crowd. "Ms. Elena Harper, would you please join me on stage?" A collective gasp rippled through the guests. Heads turned. Whispers spread like wildfire. Elena stood still for a heartbeat. Moments ago, she had been a woman walking away in shame. Now every instinct told her to stand tall. She smoothed her dress, wiped the last trace of tears from her cheeks, and turned back toward the light. Each step toward the stage felt like shedding a past version of herself. Daniel pushed through the crowd. "Elena, wait," he hissed, grabbing her arm. "What is this?" She gently freed herself. "It's the truth," she said quietly, not looking at him. On stage, the CEO handed her the microphone with a respectful nod. The applause was hesitant at first, then grew louder as understanding dawned. "My father founded Harper Holdings 30 years ago," Elena began, her voice steady but soft. "He believed real power didn't need noise. When he passed, he left everything to me." The screen shifted, images of global properties, shipping lines, tech investments. The scale was staggering. "I kept my identity private," she continued. "I wanted to be loved for who I was, not what I owned. So I chose simplicity. I chose my marriage." Her eyes met Daniel's across the room. But somewhere along the way, success changed what you valued. Daniel stood frozen, humiliation burning across his face as colleagues edged away from him. "As of tonight," the CEO added, "Harper Holdings has finalized the acquisition. Elena Harper is now the majority owner of this company." The room erupted. Applause thundered. Cameras flashed. Elena exhaled slowly. She turned and handed the signed divorce. Papers to the company's legal counsel standing nearby. "Please file these," she said calmly. Effective immediately. Then she looked back at Daniel one last time. "You wanted a future without me," she said. "Now you have it." She stepped down from the stage to a standing ovation. Not seeking revenge, not seeking validation, only closure. Outside, snow fell thicker, softer. Elena walked into the night alone, no longer someone's forgotten wife, but a woman who had finally stepped into her own power.